Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. If you're looking for just a synopsis of what's going on today for the New Orleans Saints roster, you can go to LouisianaSports.net. On the front page today, we've got a constant runner that's live on the Saints moves, and Ross is updating it as it happens. So it's been fantastic, and he's done a great job of keeping up with it. As bigger stories break, there's some guys that nobody expected to make the team. When they get waived, it just goes onto the live tracker. When significant things happen, Ross is writing a story for it on LouisianaSports.net, and those are appearing on the website as well. And that's started to trickle out here over the last, I'm going to say about 4 hours. The first interesting piece was that the Saints waived Lou Hedley. Of course, Hedley won the job from Blake Gillikin last year as a rookie and was okay last year. If you bend the numbers, he was top 10 in percentage of punts that were fielded inside the opponent's 20-yard line. But you're looking at a guy that was closer to the bottom end of the league in net punting average when you factor in returns and whatnot. And if you watched him in the preseason, which I know some of you didn't because it's preseason football, it wasn't great. And you didn't think that there was another really viable option other than Hedley. But Matthew Hayball was out there, the Vanderbilt alum who's also an Aussie, and the Saints have decided to go with Hayball here. We have done practice reports. We've talked to Luke Johnson. We've talked to Sharif Ishak. Ross has gone on every day with Matt on After Further Review. We've talked to Kat Terrell. We talked to Sean Pazan. And everybody just kind of assumed that Hedley would win that job. He did not. He was waived by the Saints, so it appears Matthew Hayball is going to be the option for the Saints. Of course, there are veteran punters that you can find pretty quickly to bring in for a tryout, so we'll see who the Saints actually bring to the first ball game in just over a week against Carolina. But it's not going to be Lou Hedley, who was waived. Saints also released veteran safety Jonathan Abram. This honestly stunned me. We knew that the spot opposite of Tyrann Mathieu was up for grabs. And you knew that Jordan Howden was in the mix, and you knew that Jonathan Abram was in the mix. And you kind of figured that Jonathan Abram would win that job because he played well alongside Tyrann Mathieu at the end of last year when the Saints kind of played some better football. It's more so on the offensive side, but they played well on defense, and those two guys were a big piece of that. Will Harris, certainly in the mix as well as a veteran, but I just kind of figured that the Saints are an organization that usually plays it pretty safe. They usually keep continuity together, and Abram was a guy that they kept there with some continuity. Now, this story has not been finalized in terms of whether or not Abram will be brought back, practice squad. All those things can happen, and there are a lot of stipulations that go into these roster moves, and the Saints are known for their, for lack of a better term, tricky use of some of the roster systems to make sure guys are available. You've got the IR slots that you can use. You've got the practice squad slots that you can use. There are different ways you can manipulate the roster, but it sounds like the Saints could still bring Abram back, but this was just something that definitely caught my attention for sure. Those were the two guys who were basically incumbent starters on this Saints team that have not made the roster to this point. Kendre Miller was the guy that I talked about a lot yesterday, and I said, look, I'd just move on. And I understand you invest a high pick in him. He hasn't been healthy. You saw some flashes in the Atlanta game at the end of last year. That's a guy that you feel like you've invested some resources in, and you believe that he's going to be on a help to your team. You've always believed that. However, he's never available. So I would have gone with a couple of different options. The thing that makes it very easy to hang on to Kendre Miller is that you can put him on the injured reserve list. Senior NFL insider Josina Anderson says that the Saints will put Kendre Miller on IR. He can come back after a month, and then you figure out where things go from there. Jordan Mims is likely going to be the next back that the Saints keep after Kamara and Williams. James Robinson has been released per Jeremy Fowler, and Jacob Kibodi, who had a great weekend in New Orleans, has been waived. That's Luke Johnson over at NOLA.com and The Advocate. He's the one who has reported that Kibodi has been let go. So at running back, you're looking at Kamara, Jamal Williams, and Jordan Mims. On the offensive line, the interesting news thus far was that Kyle Hergel has been waived. SI's John Hendricks has that report. We thought that Hergel might make the team. Ross Jackson had a final projection of the Saints offensive line yesterday, the Saints entire roster yesterday, and he thought that Hergel would make the cut there. It appears to this point you're looking at Taliese Fuanga, Lucas Patrick, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, Trevor Penning, Nick Saldiveri, Landon Young, Oli Udoh, and then potentially Mark Evans holding down that last spot. Shane Lemieux has been released. Jesse Davis has been released. Josiah Ziram, who the Saints took a late draft pick on, was waived. And then Tremaine Ankrum was waived. That's per Nick Underhill over at New Orleans Football. So I thought that Hergel might have a real chance to make the team. Turned out that he will not. That's most of the headlining news to this point. Charlie Smith was waived. We expected that. Blake Grupe absolutely earned that job in the preseason. Now, keep in mind, Blake Grupe was fantastic in the preseason last year and was not very good in the postseason. I watched both of those. He was very good in the preseason, was not very good in the regular season last year. Just a risk you're going to have to run. But at this point, it wasn't worth trying to take Charlie Smith, who you don't know how he's going to react to the bright lights, and you don't know how consistent he is under 50 yards. If you need a 65-yarder, he's your guy. I just don't know how often you're going to need a 65-yarder. So Blake Grupe has made the team. That much is official. So there's more information to come. Roster cuts still ongoing for the next 90 minutes or so. If you're looking for a live tracker on what's going on, you can find that at louisianasports.net. Ross Jackson's been all over it all day long for us there. If you're looking for just the Saints news, there is a tab on louisianasports.net right there at the top that says teams. There's an LSU tab, there's a Saints tab, there's a Pelicans tab, there's an SEC tab. If you click our Saints tab right now, you'll get all the information that's coming up on the website with Kendre Miller's situation. There's more detail than what I've gone into on that, as well as Jonathan Abram Ross is doing a great job keeping up with it. So if you're interested in cut day in the NFL, go ahead and check that out over on louisianasports.net. Also got a ton of LSU information up on louisianasports.net. I came up with a nice little, I shouldn't call my stuff nice. It was fun is what I meant to say. 4 predictions. We'll get to those in hour number 2. I've got that up on the website right now as well, but I've got some thoughts on how I see things going this year for LSU in some statistical categories. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.